Hello, and welcome to a very special beginning of April. As I'm sure you are already aware, we finally got a release date for Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4, June 5th. Just a mere 2 months away. Extremely exciting stuff. As a Deltarune YouTuber, naturally, I'm going to take my chance to pick through our new trailer. I'm very excited that we got a trailer. I was hoping that we would get one. Additionally, just as a side note before we begin, I am doing this the day that it released, so I haven't had time to let some of the things that I have seen kind of percolate in my mind. So these are just kind of my raw initial thoughts. I also have not watched anybody else's videos dissecting anything yet, so maybe there's something that's actually really obvious and everybody already knows, and I don't catch it in mine, in which case, whoops, at least somebody else did. Anyway, without further ado, I really like this little mascot opening. I think it's really cute, obviously. I also think it's interesting that Toby has this little mascot outfit. It makes me wonder where else, if it's been used anywhere else. I both feel like I've seen it before, but I don't feel like I've seen it at any public performances or anything. I do love this opening animation, where we get to see Chris picking up Susie and then Ralsei coming into view and then walking into the castle town. I find it really interesting, particularly that here Deltarune is labeled as Undertale's parallel story, which implies that it is happening in tandem at the same time as whatever happens in Undertale. There are many reasons why this is interesting. Obviously, it could just be that it's a way to kind of dissuade some of the ideas that, you know, Deltarune comes before or after Undertale that are often speculated in fan theories. It also could be saying something about how the two stories interact with one another, if they do at all. So while I don't have any concrete thoughts on that, I do think it's something interesting to keep an eye on in the future. Also, I did pause the wide shot. I don't think we see anybody new in the hometown. We get to see some stuff from Chapter 2, Chapter 1, Spamton naturally. Here we get to see stuff that we've already seen from the Spamton sweepstakes, and I'm still a really big fan of the Mafia little suits that they all get to wear for this, knocking these guys' socks off. It is interesting that we seem to have limited ammo when we are doing this move, so every shot counts. If you're a bad shot, that is. Another interesting thing, I don't know quite what to make of this. It looks like you're manipulating two butterflies? Bows? Kind of shields to defend against this yellow and pink that you are being afflicted by. Okay, I know I said that I haven't gotten anything from anybody else, but that was actually a little lie. I have seen a little bit of stuff on Tumblr. It's impossible to avoid everything. And I did see somebody point out, and it's kind of obvious, that our colors here are pink and yellow, and once again, those are the colors that we see in Spamton's glasses, that we saw in the creepy face before, a yellow eye and a pink eye. And it just occurred to me today that those are the two colors of sparing, specifically in Undertale. In Undertale, names become yellow when you can spare them, but you can also talk to a Frogget in the ruins to have him throw out all the yellow spare names, and if you want them back, all of the names are already in the trash, so everybody has these pink spare names instead. I don't know if that's relevant or important, but I do think it's worth putting out there and seeing what you guys think about that. I think it at least holds something, that these are the colors of the spare mechanic. Really big fan of this little thing. We have a little rock band. It's giving me big, well, rock band Guitar Hero vibes, which, I mean, I enjoyed that back when I had that game. Not that I was good, I said I enjoyed it. It is interesting that we do have two names on here, Papu and Larity. I'm wondering if you will be able to do this with somebody else online. And if so, is it possible to get a third person to play the Susie part while you are also doing this? I think their outfits are cute, if a little busy. It's giving very glam rocker. That being said, I really don't know what to make of Ralsei's outfit because I really can't see it well enough to form a good opinion. I do think Chris is wearing heels, which I find very interesting because Chris is usually not depicted in normally feminine attire. Okay, I've seen this part called out a bit just because of how desaturated, like Brown that Susie is here. Additionally, it looks like Chris, similarly in this broken glass almost area, is also a similar state of desaturated that Susie is, and then she throws us up to a place that is a little more stable, a little more saturated. The texture of it, I think, is supposed to be like a rock wall, and we are climbing on 2 sets of rock walls, but it reminds me kind of the paper trail that you get when you first go into the first Dark World, the Closet Dark World. Also, I could be totally off base with this. I'm doing this on the spot. I'm not researching anything. But the stained glass makes me think that maybe we are in the church at this point. I really can't remember what day we're supposed to be in the church. I think it matches up with maybe chapter 4 though. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Speaking of, really quick, I think it's really a good call on Toby that he is releasing chapters 3 and 4 together, if for no other reason than in his newsletters leading up to it, he could give a lot more details on chapter 3, keep people interested, keep giving us little bits and pieces and information to keep us, curious and building theories, but in doing so, able to keep almost the entirety of chapter 4 kind of hidden away in secret. Like, to the point where people were speculating we would not even have a Dark World in chapter 4. I was speculating we wouldn't have a Dark World in chapter 4. Chapter 3, we get to see the beautiful face of Tenna? I can't remember if we got an official name for our fancy TV guy. If it was Tenna or if it was Mike? I feel like Mike would be somebody else. I'm not entirely sure. It could be Mike Tenna. Maybe. Interesting that it seems to be a 3D asset here, moving in the TV face. Obviously from Deltarune, we know that Toby Fox isn't afraid to kind of mix mediums, but it's still very cool to see. Also, really interesting right here, we still kind of have this desaturated vibe going on, though it's a little hard to tell if it's desaturated or if it has something to do with like the lighting of this shot. But you seem to be being attacked by these little black mites. I'm not really sure what to make of them. And because this is a video and not, assets in a newsletter, you can't like find the file name for like some secrets in there. We get more of chapter 4. This leads me to believe that chapter 4 has a lot of these chase sequence, these running sequences, a lot of this kind of stained glass fancy vibe going on. Interesting to me that Chris is running around with their sword drawn. That's not something we usually get to see. And of course these tiles have the Deltarune on them, further making me believe that this is taking place in the church. And then you end with this great animation by Temmie Chang, which I think when you first see it's a little hard to make out, but if you pay attention, it's 2 wings that come off and reveal the star that we usually associate both with the save point and that we have been led to associate with the Titans. I believe I mentioned in a very early theory of mine what are the Titans, that I think the save points are going to be used to kind of create the Titans. They're going to be intrinsically linked to one another, that you're actually going to need to kill and defeat Titans to regain your save points at one point. I don't know if that's true, but I do think this is further proof that the little star is not just a stylistic element, but more important than just happening to also be star-shaped, in my opinion. And I always love a good Temmie animation. Deltarune, available on Nintendo Switch 2 launch day. And then an 8-4 in the corner. 8 through 4. 8-4? 8-4 date-wise would be August 4th, which is not when the game comes out. If you do it the other way, the European way, it could be April 8th, which, as far as I know, is not a significant day at all. The only thing that it makes me think is, what if it's like saying that there are going to be 8 chapters instead of 7? We are on the 4th of 8. But still, the 8-4 is very interesting and odd to put in the corner here. I'm not sure what to make of it. For all I know, it's just a little error, but I doubt it. I feel like that's something that you would hopefully catch before you submit your trailer to be a part of the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation. But then again, the presentation totally glitched in the middle, so maybe it's not as clean of a thing as I feel like it should be. Anyway, those are my initial thoughts. Feel free to make of them what you were. If you disagree, please say something in the comments. Additionally, I watched the whole Nintendo Direct, and I do have a lot of thoughts on it. If that's a video that would interest you guys, let me know. Otherwise, I have a video that I have recorded the lines for. I just need to do the rest of it. I've been struggling because I'm not sure if there's anything actually useful to be gotten out of it, but I might as well finish it. I hope all of you have a good time, and I will see you guys in a couple months for the release of Deltarune chapters 3 and 4. Right now, I'm hoping that I'll be able to stream chapters 1 and 2 before then, both because, you know, kind of a refresher, and also I got a new laptop recently, and so my files are no longer on here, so might as well restart. At any rate, I hope you all have a wonderful day.